You're watching the Isaiah Factor Uncensored.
And welcome back to the second half of the Factor Uncensored. A show featuring drag queens is a sight to behold. There's usually men dancing while wearing long eyelashes and high heels. But what you don't normally see are kids in the crowds, children in the crowds, giving the performers cash, making it rain like a strip club. Well, this Saturday, a bar in Dallas is advertising what they say is family-friendly show. So yes, the parents can bring the kids along. I asked my guests if that kids belong in that type of environment.
So Tracy, Shannon, your position on drag shows for kids, and tell us your backstory before you get into what your position is.
Right. Well, I'm a trans widow, and a trans widow is a woman whose husband left her and her children, in many cases, to transition to live as a woman. And I'm also the Texas director for Mass Resistance, the organization and the person that exposed the sex offenders and prostitutes and dominatrix for hire and porn stars in the drag queen story hours in the past, including the one that was in Houston.
And when you hear, first of all, when you saw the video of the drag queen dancing for the children and them giving her tips, you know, it almost was reminiscent of a strip club, but these are children in there with a drag, and it's in the daytime, not at nighttime. So your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts are that bars and gay bars and drag clubs, the drag scene in general, is no place for a child, whether it's daytime or nighttime. And they're trying to, my background actually is in marketing, and this is marketing to children. And adult entertainment should not be marketed to children.
And Jamie, when you hear that from Tracy, your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are, you know, there's a part of me that agrees. There's a part of me that will say and admit that there are certain venues and certain shows that are distinctly adult. They are, and I'm not going to sit here and deny it. There are certain shows and certain venues where it is an adult theme. However, that being said, I have myself performed in shows for children where I did all Disney numbers, and I did nothing sexualized or anything that could be construed as inappropriate with a child. And I had a little 3-year-old boy who was dying of AIDS come up to me and throw his arms around my neck after that show. So I think that to say that it's just blatantly wrong across the board without there being any gray area does the subject a disservice, because there's more to it than just the surface, you know?
And when you think about drag shows and drag queens, you think of adults. So why go to children? Why bring children, whether it's a gay bar in the daytime or in the library? What is the uniqueness of performing and marketing to children?
I wouldn't so much call it marketing to children as showing children another form of culture. Mm-hmm. It's just another form of culture, like hip hop or any other form of modern day culture that we have within our society. So to have a drag show where you're bringing children in a safe way around it, where they're seeing not adult sexualized numbers, but family-friendly content, then I don't really see the problem. I honestly don't, because you're kind of saying that people like me or drag queens don't really have a place in society or on earth at all by saying that we're not proper to be around children.
Tracy, is there an acceptable age for you to be exposed to drag queens? If you're a child, a teenager, a preteen, what? Is there a particular age that you'll say, okay, that's fine?
I would say it really depends on the child. If we're talking about minors, we are talking about adult entertainment, so I'd say that belongs mainly in the purview of adults. But if as far as knowing about and watching a drag queen for these older children, it really does depend on the child. I mean, we have very impressionable young people right now who have watched programs such as RuPaul Drag Race, and watching all kinds of videos online, and they're becoming confused about their gender. Yeah, no one said it's contagious or anything like that, and that someone's causing it. But there's so much attention and conversation surrounding this among teens.
It's a very common argument. It's a very common argument, and I will be the first one to tell you, your argument has been heard. I hear it on a daily basis almost. I was a transgender child. I transitioned when I was 14 years old at a time when it was not okay in society, and I was put out on the streets into the child sex industry to survive because of that lack of understanding and lack of support. So when you're dealing with LGBTQ children in today's sense, I would think that by now we would have learned a little bit more by the mistakes of the past and not be so quick to like put these kids in a box and force them to say, no, 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 no. You cannot question that. That's nature. You're just stuck with it like that. No, if a child is questioning, that child has the right to question. I questioned and I got put out for it, but other children shouldn't have to go through what I went through. And I think that the environment that you're asking for is that environment by what you're suggesting.
Right. Well, no one's suggesting that anyone should be put out for questioning anything, but what we're doing is projecting identities onto very young children, because a boy might act a little feminine or a girl may act more masculine than her average peer, but we shouldn't be burdening them with these identities and then later on medicalizing them. And really, no one's forced in any type of sex trade. I cannot accept that narrative, just like you don't want to accept mine. I can't accept that somebody is forced into sex trade as a child because their parents didn't accept them. Because their parents
if they're not understood, where are they going to go? Where are they going to turn?
Okay, so I mean, as I'm a parent, a lot of times I don't understand my kids. They don't become homeless or get into the sex trade because I don't understand them. It's called boundaries, and we used to have a thing such as respect and obedience in the family structure, and we need to get back to that. Right now, parents like me are being characterized, like you just said, as wanting to put them on the streets or as abusers for not allowing them to be themselves.
For a trans child, it is abuse. For a
it
trans
is not
child,
abuse. Abuse has a legal definition,
it is abuse
and that
to
does not meet the definition.
Of that care. And nobody's talking about surgeries. I'm not talking about surgeries. I'm not talking about medical transition in that state. I'm talking about going to therapy. I'm talking about puberty blockers to give that child a chance to think about what they're doing. I'm talking about going a safe and sane route. No one is suggesting anything radical.
It's not safe and it's not sane. And the reason why is when you socially transition a child, like you're talking about, they get pigeonholed into this. 100% of the time when they're put in puberty blockers and socially transition, they go forward to be medicalized. You're basically putting them on the conveyor belt, denying them a functional sex life and the ability to be orgasmic as an adult and their fertility.
You're talking to someone who literally did what you're talking about, and yet I am very capable of functioning. So, I don't agree with you. I'm sorry. I just don't agree with you.
We want to thank you guys. This is a conversation that could go on and on and on, but we wanted to hear both sides, and we did tonight. Thank you for joining us here on The Factor.
Interesting conversation there.